and you can access it on iHeartMedia. So if you download the iHeart app and you look up The American Soundbite, you can listen to, well, our live broadcast or any of our past recordings through the history of The American Soundbite. We're also live on YouTube TV. We're live on Paragram, Twitter, Periscope. We're live on Periscope. We're live on Facebook Live. We're live on something called Twitch. You know, I'm sure all you kids are familiar with Twitch. And somewhere else. So we are literally simulcasting around the world on this information superhighway. But in order to get it to my actual Facebook profile page, I have to go into the American Soundbite on Facebook, and I have to start a watch party. So you could look up the American Soundbite on Facebook. You could look it up. You could like the page or follow the page or favorite whatever you do to the page and be informed every time we go live. And then you could click on this button that says Start, watch together with a friend or a group. And then you have to write a title, which my title is America is Great, and you are the reason. Yeah, just because I want to, I don't know, get other people to watch. And then you get this little, yeah, I was too late. You get this little popcorn thing while it's starting and it's getting ready to go and all of that. So once I do that, I am basically live. And actually, if you do start a watch party, you can see like Mark actually just showed up. Hi, Mark. Good morning. Happy Independence Day. There's this whole part of the screen down here. You can actually see comments. You can see who logs in. You'll notice that while I'm actually broadcasting, I don't really look because I would be like this the whole time and I wouldn't be looking at you. So because of that, I set my phone down, but I kind of have it there in case like anything does happen to like pop up or like a whole bunch of things. And I'm like, oh, what's going on? And I can interrupt our previously scheduled program for whatever important news is being popped up on my screen. Nonetheless, it is time to go live with the podcast, which means our program is only seconds away from starting. You are listening to The American Soundbite, a podcast that features common sense thoughts of an everyday American. This is the start of the most valuable 10 minutes of your day, so congratulations on joining us. I'm certainly glad that you're here for the conversation today on this Independence Day in America. Hey, before we begin, I'd like to ask you to spread the wealth of independence by finding the share button in whatever app you're listening to the program in. Click on the share button. Let your friends, your family, your coworkers on social media know that you start your morning by listening to the American Soundbite, and, well, they would benefit from it too. The content of our show will give them things to think about throughout the day. We'll give them topics to talk about, and we'll make them a more interesting and well-rounded person to just be around throughout the day, whether it's at home, it's at work, or it's, just talking to them on a Zoom meeting. So share that right now. I appreciate it. America. America is the best country in the world. America is, celebrating our independence today. And while we're celebrating our independence from the overbearing rule of the world power that she was back in the 1700s, Great Britain, we also are celebrating our personal independence, our freedom, our liberty. And we're celebrating that at the cost of all of the men and women who are currently or have ever served in our armed forces, including those patriots that, fought for our freedom way back then when they were battling the redcoats and making sure that, we didn't stay under the oppressive rule of, the royalty of Great Britain. Now, our history certainly is storied in its past. We have made, as a nation, we have made a number of mistakes. We have had a lot of failures. Just like you and I, all of us have personally had successes in our life, and we've had failures in our life. We've probably had more failures in our life, whether it's personal relationships or it's family relationships or it's work related or school related or friendships or sports or in all areas of our lives. We have made mistakes. We have had failures. We have been knocked down. And just like you and me, in all of those instances, in every single case, America, when it gets knocked down, it gets back up. It continues to fight. It continues to believe in the virtues of freedom and independence. And that is why we celebrate our Independence Day today. Now, in our culture today, in our society today, there is a movement. There's a small group of people who have decided that for whatever reason, that they hate the idea of our freedom. They hate the idea that you can choose to live your own life the way that you choose. All while I may choose to live my life completely differently. Again, regardless of whether that's what religion I choose to practice, what my sexual preferences are, what type of job I have, where I choose to live, how I choose to drive, whether or not I wear a mask, all kinds of things that you and I are free to make a decision on what it is that we're going to do, how we're going to live our lives. That freedom also means that some people are going to choose to do things that we disapprove of. Some people are going to choose to live their lives or choose to like or love or hate people or groups based on reasons that we don't understand, reasons that we can't comprehend, reasons that we wholeheartedly disagree with. But they have the freedom to do that. They have the independence to make those choices, to live their life the way that they choose. Even if they choose not to love the way that I choose to live my life through a, spirit of love and compassion for others, they still have the freedom to choose to live in a spirit of hatred towards others. And they're free to do that. I don't have to accept it. I don't have to like it. I don't have to be around it, by the way. But I do have to understand that they are free to make those decisions. There's a group in America today, a group that hates our freedom, that hates, what it is that our country is by allowing people to be free. And they believe that if you don't have the same viewpoints, the same thoughts, the same expressions, the same, everything that they do, then you're wrong and you should be canceled. You should be removed from your job, from your education, from your family, from your community, from everything. You should be placed somewhere until you understand that you need to think of things the way that they do. It's called the cancel culture. And it's really what's behind all of this stuff that's been going around. If somebody disagrees with what you think or what you say, then they shouldn't have their job as a broadcaster. Or if they said something when they were 18, 40 years ago, and somebody just remembered it, and oh my gosh, this CEO said that, they should be fired or removed from a seat on a board or whatever it is. Well, let's remember that just like America and all the mistakes and all the failures that we've had, because of those poor judgments that we've made in the past as a country, we are stronger and better today. We learn from our mistakes. We correct those mistakes and we make them better. Just like that here in America. We make mistakes. We change over time. We learn from our mistakes. We learn from our failures. We learn from our indiscretions. And we come out on the other side as a better, stronger, happier person. Does that mean that we should judge those people because of the things that they said 40 years ago or the things that they think or do today? Or do we need to look inside at ourselves? Stop projecting on others. Look inside at our lives. Look at our own failures. Look at our own indiscretions and understand that, well, we all do stupid shit. We all make mistakes. We all do things that are wrong. And in most cases, when we do those and we find out either on our own or because somebody kind of hits us with a 2x4 and says, "What in the hell are you doing?" we learn from those and we move on by becoming a stronger and a better person. We have to, in America, be accepting of those that have different views. We have to be accepting of those who do things differently, who make different choices in their lives. Whether we agree with it or not is irrelevant. Our freedom, our independence means that we have to accept the freedom and the independence of those around us. We don't have to be a part of it, but we do have to accept it and allow it to go on. Those of us who are true patriots have to encourage it, the things that we hate. We have to encourage it happening because it's in their expression of things that we disagree with that we strengthen our freedom, our liberties, our independence. And that is what makes America great. That is why so many men and women have gone to battle over the years, blindlessly following their leader to fight for freedom, to fight for you and me, to fight for our right to believe what we believe, to live how we choose to live. America isn't a place where one group gets to dictate or mandate how people think, how people act, how people live. America is the land of the free. And we're, well, the home of the brave. And it's those brave men and women who fight for our freedom that give us the right to make those choices. Anybody who is part of this cancel culture, anybody who gets completely enraged because of something that a TV announcer said 20 years ago or 2 minutes ago, and fights to have them fired or removed or whatever it is, those are people that hate freedom. If you say something I disagree with, if you say something that offends me, then you need to lose your job. That is complete and utter bullshit. Because our freedom means that we can disagree. We can disagree about the most intense and important topics, but we can still live amongst each other as Americans in societies where they try to control what people think and what people believe. There's always an underground culture, which is the majority of society, that get together and discuss things that they're not allowed to think or believe. And those societies fail. Think of, well, any of them around the world. The USSR. Well, that was by far the largest example in our lifetime, where the government tells people what to think, what to believe, what kind of church they are or aren't allowed to go to, what kind of people they're allowed to date and or marry. We live in America. It's a free society. That means that our freedom means that while we're speaking for the things that we love, We have to be accepting of those that are speaking and fighting for the things that we disagree with. Our freedom is more important than our individual beliefs. And that means that we have to accept one another for who and what we are. It doesn't mean we don't have to disagree. It doesn't mean that we don't have to argue. In fact, it actually means that we should both disagree and argue our points often and vocally and publicly. Because it's in those debates, it's in those conversations that we strengthen our resolve, that we understand one another. And in some cases, we come together and we find common ground. And that common ground is our freedom. That common ground is America. That common ground is exactly why we live in the greatest society, the greatest country ever in the history of the world. And it's us understanding and fighting for, both on the battlefield and here in our living rooms and in conversations that we have with people each and every day. It's in those battles that we fight that secures our freedom, that secures our ability to understand what independence truly means. Here on July 4th, obviously, we all get to sit back and enjoy and relax and celebrate our freedom. Let's remember that that freedom means that however people choose to celebrate, they're free to do that. Our independence is important. Our independence is what will always remain a crucial value in America moving forward. And our personal liberties are things that can never be infringed upon, not by the government, not by private groups, not by these vigilantes that want to, well, cancel you into only thinking the way that they think. So the cancel culture that's out there is something that we have to battle against actively each and every day. Because when we band together and protect our freedom, the cancel culture of, well, the left coast, well, it diminishes and, well, it dies on the vine the way that it has everywhere else around the world. I hope you have a great Independence Day and, well, God bless us all. You have been listening to a production of the American Soundbite. This is a podcast that features common sense thoughts of this everyday American. The last 14 minutes have been the most valuable 10 minutes of your day, and I really appreciate you being here. Hey, if you liked the content, if you like the format of the show, if you like what it is that we do here, find the like button on the app that you're listening to the program on and click on it. It lets me know that you like it, and so I continue to produce content just like this. If you have any comments or suggestions or even, well, deep criticisms of our show today, type those in the comment section. I do read them, and it helps make the program better moving forward. And also, don't forget about that share button. It's right next to the like button. Click on that. Let your friends on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, let them know that the American Soundbite is the best way to start your day. Thanks a lot for listening. I hope you have a great Independence Day, and God bless America. And that is a wrap of our special Independence Day show. It's only special because it's Independence Day. We do broadcast here each and every day, and I love having you a part of the conversation. So I ask that you share it with your friends, that you let people know the American Soundbite is a good place to start a conversation, and that they should listen or watch us wherever it is that they choose to see